I'm working on a novel. It is a story of my life and my sister's.
Make it short and spicy. And if the main character is a girl, make sure she's married by the end.
This is Meg, Amy, Beth, and Joe.
Little Women is a film that feels both deeply rooted in the past and strikingly alive in the present. A delicate balance achieved through the vision of Greta Gerwig, who not only directed but also adapted the screenplay from the timeless novel by Louisa May Alcott. Rather than presenting the story in a straightforward, linear fashion, the film moves fluidly through time, weaving together memories and present moments as if they exist side by side. This structure reflects the inner world of Jo March, the central figure whose perspective shapes the emotional rhythm of the narrative. The story becomes less about what happens next and more about how experiences echo, how choices linger, and how identity is formed through reflection as much as action. In this way, the film captures not just events, but the feeling of remembering them, giving it a layered, almost literary texture that mirrors the act of reading itself. At its heart, the film explores the lives of 4 sisters, Jo, Meg, Amy, and Beth, each of whom is determined to define her life on her own terms, despite the societal expectations placed on women in their era. Saoirse Ronan brings Jo to life with a vibrant intensity, portraying her as fiercely independent, creative, and often conflicted between her ambition and her emotional attachments. Jo is not just a character, but a representation of artistic struggle, someone who longs to write stories that matter while grappling with the limitations imposed by her world. Her journey is intertwined with her relationships, particularly with her sisters, whose own paths diverge in meaningful ways. Meg, portrayed by Emma Watson, embodies a different kind of aspiration, one that leans towards stability, family, and a quieter fulfillment. She is often seen as the most traditional of the sisters, yet her choices are no less intentional or significant. Her story highlights the complexity of choosing a life that may appear conventional but is deeply personal and deliberate. Amy, played by Florence Pugh, evolves dramatically over the course of the film, transforming from a somewhat impulsive and misunderstood younger sister into a thoughtful and pragmatic young woman. Her perspective challenges the idea that ambition must look a certain way, as she navigates art, love, and survival with a clear-eyed understanding of the realities she faces. Beth, brought to life by Eliza Scanlen, represents gentleness and quiet strength, her presence grounding the family, as even her own fragility becomes a central emotional thread. The dynamic between the sisters forms the emotional core of the film, creating a portrait of family that is both specific and universal. Their interactions are filled with warmth, tension, humor, and heartbreak, capturing the way relationships evolve over time. The film pays close attention to small moments, shared glances, playful arguments, acts of kindness that collectively build a sense of intimacy. These moments are not merely decorative, they are essential to understanding who these characters are and how they influence one another. Through them, the story emphasizes that identity is not formed in isolation, but through connection. One of the most compelling relationships in the film is between Jo and Laurie, played by Timothée Chalamet. Laurie is both a kindred spirit and a source of emotional complexity for Jo, their bond shifting over time as their desires and expectations diverge. Their interactions are marked with a sense of possibility, as if they represent a path that could have been taken, but ultimately is not. This dynamic adds a layer of poignancy to the narrative, underscoring the idea that not all meaningful relationships are meant to follow a conventional trajectory. The supporting cast enriches the story further, with Laura Dern portraying Marmee, the sister's mother, as a figure of wisdom, compassion, and quiet resilience. Marmee serves as a moral and emotional anchor, guiding her daughters while also revealing her own struggles and vulnerabilities. Meryl Streep appears as Aunt March, a character whose sharp wit and pragmatic outlook provide both humor and a contrasting perspective on life's realities. Through these characters, the film explores different generational viewpoints, showing how values are shaped by experience and circumstance. The narrative unfolds against the backdrop of a society that places clear limitations on women, particularly in terms of marriage, financial independence, and creative expression. Yet, the film does not present these constraints as a simple obstacle to be overcome. Instead, it examines how each character negotiates them in her own way. Jo's struggle to maintain ownership of her work, Amy's recognition of marriage as both a romantic and economic decision, Meg's embrace of domesticity, and Beth's quiet acceptance of her circumstances all contribute to a nuanced exploration of what it means to live authentically within a restrictive framework. Visually, the film enhances its storytelling through a careful use of color and light, distinguishing between different time periods while also reflecting the emotional tone of each scene. The past is often depicted with warmth and vibrancy, suggesting nostalgia and the intensity of youthful experience, while the present carries a more subdued palette, hinting at the weight of memory and the passage of time. This visual language works in harmony with the narrative structure, reinforcing the idea that the past is not separate from the present, but continues to shape it. The film's approach to storytelling also extends to its treatment of authorship and creativity. Jo's journey as a writer becomes a meta-narrative, blurring the line between fiction and reality. Her efforts to publish her work, negotiate its terms, and assert her voice mirror the challenges faced by Louisa May Alcott herself. In this way, the film becomes not just an adaptation, but a reflection on the act of adaptation, acknowledging its source material while reinterpreting it through a contemporary lens. As the story progresses, moments of joy are interwoven with moments of loss, creating an emotional landscape that feels both rich and authentic. The film does not shy away from the inevitability of change, whether it comes in the form of growing up, drifting apart, or confronting mortality. These themes are handled with sensitivity, allowing the audience to feel the impact of each development without resorting to melodrama. Instead, the film trusts in the strength of its characters and the sincerity of their experiences. The release of the film in 2019 marked it as a modern reimagining of a classic story, one that resonated with audiences for its ability to speak to both historical and contemporary concerns. Its trailer offered glimpses of its emotional depth, vibrant performances, and distinctive visual style, setting expectations for a film that would honor its source material while offering something new. The anticipation surrounding its release was fueled not only by the enduring popularity of the novel, but also by the reputation of Greta Gerwig as a storyteller capable of capturing the complexities of human relationships with honesty and nuance. Ultimately, the film stands as a testament to the enduring relevance of its themes. It reminds viewers that the questions it raises about identity, ambition, love, and the meaning of a fulfilling life are not confined to any particular era. By presenting these questions through the intertwined lives of the March sisters, it creates a narrative that feels both intimate and expansive, inviting audiences to see themselves within its story. The result is a film that lingers in the mind, not because of any single moment, but because of the way it captures the texture of life itself, with all its contradictions, possibilities, and quiet revelations.